Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean. This is the Game Room. Thank you for joining us. We are working on our Starship Troopers 6mm models for the Starship Troopers 6mm game, which we've kind of been talking about through some of these videos. I'm gonna show you how I paint my light infantry. It's very basic, very simple paint scheme that you can paint up really quick. First of all, once you have all your miniatures painted, I primed them with uniform gray from Army Painter, and then hit them directly from the top about 45 degrees front and back with gray sear. Ash gray would probably work just as well, but that's going to give us the uniform gray. These are the light infantry that you saw in the movie with their gray and black harnesses. So let me show you how quickly you can paint these up and how I do it. Okay, bear with me. I'm using a new camera for the first time, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, you can see how tiny this little guy is. Okay, and so we're only going to use a handful of colors. I'm going to start with Grim Black. Then for the gun, we're going to do some dry brushing of gunmetal. We're going to do a little touch up here and there with the ash gray, barbarian flesh for the skin, and then we're going to do a watered down dark tone to finish it. And so let's just get started. I generally start with the black, the Grim Black, and for this we're going to paint the gun and his vest, and then his boots down here on the bottom. Now, keep in mind, these guys are 6mm. You can take as much time on these as you want, but the chances of anybody noticing, not so much. So unless you're going to take really close-up pictures, hey, you do you. If you want to take a long time to, or do some super detailed work, you go for it, and I want to see pictures, because that would just be awesome. But you can use this technique for, if you're doing Epic, or if you're getting ready for Warpath, Epic or Mantic Games Warpath, which is coming out, which is 10mm, not 6mm, and you can use these same absolute same painting techniques. Just keep in mind, they're tiny. They are tiny. They do have a lot of detail. These models are from what is it, Wake's Emporium, I believe. I've been on his Patreon for a long time. These are part of the Void Troopers, I believe. And it was neat because the guy over at Crow just used some models he created, and then models that other makers already had. Why recreate stuff if somebody else already has cool models out there that would fit the bill? And he made a game, so I am working on getting all of my models ready so I could play the game. Alright, there's the black. Okay, next up I'm going to do the barbarian flesh on his hands here. And back here on the gun. And then his face. Okay. Okay, oops, sorry about that. Okay, now using the ash gray, I'm going to do a very, very light dry brush over the black, and it's just to give it a little texture. And then if you want, on top of like his helmet or something, you can give a little accent. You can touch his knee pads down here. Anything that you want to highlight on him, go to town, highlight whatever you want. I'm just trying to get these guys done as quick as possible because you're gonna need a bunch of them. Oh God, I hope that was all on the screen. You're gonna need a bunch of them. Here's what I did. Just touched up the knee pads, just a little highlights here on the helmet, a little bit of dry brush on his, just on the armor, maybe even on his boots down here, just to draw them out a little bit. But again, you're going to need a lot of these models. If you put 4 to a base, and just for one squad, you start with 6 bases, and you can add 2 more. So figure you're going to need 8. If you put 5 models, do the math, you're going to need, what, 40? If you do 4 models, you're going to need 32. You're going to print up a whole bunch anyway, but it's just getting them painted and done quickly is what you're after. At least that's what I'm after. So my base colors are done. I'm going to do just a little bit of a dry brush on, switch over to a different brush, old nasty dry brush that I've been using, with gunmetal. If you don't know how to do a dry brush, you are basically going to load your brush full of paint, and then you're going to wipe it off. Almost all of it off, depending on how heavy you want, on a paper towel. Now you don't have a whole lot on there because all you're wanting to do is just get the high points, like so. Just want to give it the, make it look like it's metal. Okay, and for the last thing we're going to do, I'm going to grab a wash brush, old nasty brush I've used for years. And this is dark tone, about 50-50, maybe 60-40 water to dark tone. I don't want to change the color, I just want to make it look, I want him to look, like he's in a battlefield. And I'm just going to spread that all over him. And that's going to help give him a battle-weary, battle-field look. What the wash does is it pulls down into the crevices, really gives him a... it just kind of sits down in there without... What's the right word? It sits down in the crevices and will fill those in darker. So, like, I mean, you can even see on my shirt here, you can see the crevices where it's a little darker. Well, that's what the wash will do. So if you paint the whole thing gray, it just looks kind of two-dimensional. You don't really see the detail. But a wash will come in, it'll leave the higher points slightly colored, but it'll blend down into the dark area. So you'll see when he's done. But he's done. Let me let him dry, and I'll show you what it looks like when he's done. All right, and through the magic of a pause button, here he is. He is complete, and it looks pretty good. Again, 3-foot tabletop distance, you're not even going to be able to see, much detail on him at all to begin with, but it'll give you an idea of how you can actually make them impact. So let me show you how I paint up a whole bunch of them, put them on a little paint stick, and this whole stick took me about 1 episode of Roughneck's Starship Troopers Chronicles, which, search YouTube, you can watch the entire series. Fantastic. Okay, let me show you what these are going to look like when they're done and based. This is just one of my stands that I have nearly complete. I still need to paint the edge, but this is what they look like, guys. Now, imagine a whole bunch of those out on the battlefield. They're going to look pretty stinking good. You know, and if somebody actually picks them up and looks at them, they're going to look at the face and say, dang, how'd you paint the face? You really didn't. You just touched it and hit it with a wash, and wow, it looks cool. Okay, again, I mean, we spent a whole less than 10 minutes painting this one guy. Granted, he went a little slow, but like I said, you put him on a paint stick like this, you can knock out a whole bunch of them really, really quickly. And before you know it, it'll actually probably take longer to base them than it will to paint the models following this simple paint scheme, because it's just simple and it's very fast. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you're playing the Starship Troopers 6mm game, you're printing out your minis and stuff, awesome. Let me know in the comments if you're using this painting techniques for, like I said, for Warpath or Epic or something else. Let me know. I'd love to see pictures. You can find us at the Game Room Texas Gamer Geeks on Facebook, as well as right here on YouTube. I'd love to see the pictures. You can post them on the Facebook page, and it'd be really awesome. Anyway, please like, subscribe. I hope this helps. Anyway, thanks for watching. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. Bye now.